All right, back with another episode of Asking Rockstars Questions. Today we are joined by Kevin Comeau, one half of Oshawa's Crown Lands. I want to start things off with a simple yes or no here. Are you guys aware that you have by far the best hair per member ratio of any band to ever live?
We've been made painfully aware of it. Yes. Thank you, though. That's very nice.
You guys are called Crown Lands, and the meaning behind it references stolen land that you're reclaiming. I know that Cody's half Mi'kmaq, forgive me if I pronounce that incorrectly,
Yep.
and Indigenous issues are obviously something that means a lot to you guys. So what does it mean to be able to use your platform to bring attention to these issues?
Yeah, totally. I mean, as a white person, like my role in the band is just to be an ally and make sure, like, Cody's voice gets elevated. But when we started out, one of the first songs we wrote was Mountain, which is about like the horrors of colonialism. And then on our most recent record, we have a song called End of the Road, which is a tribute to the missing and murdered Indigenous women, children, and Two-Spirit people along the Highway of Tears in northern BC. Yeah. And we try and like bring awareness to the fact that not only have Indigenous people been oppressed for hundreds of years in Canada, but we have to recognize that the systems put in place are meant to protect the oppressors, and the RCMP have actually gone and deleted all their investigations into these missing persons cases over the years, and there's just been no recourse. And so our role as a band is just to kind of like reflect the times and try and make more people aware. It's like we don't really have much power as artists to make change, but all we can do is talk about what's going on and hopefully inspire the people that do have the power to make a difference. Like, there's this book I've been reading. I'm gonna go grab it. This is like really important. So this is 21 Things You May Not Know About the Indian Act by Bob Joseph. And like you can read one page of this and be moved enough to try and make a difference in your country. Like this is like required reading for a Canadian, I think, right now. It's one of the best books I've ever read, and it's like it's really hard to get through. It's really hard to get through. And the fact is, like, I think it wasn't until 1953 that Indigenous people could even legally get legal counsel to get like clean drinking water or be able to like buy back their own land that was stolen from under them. And it's just it's really tough. It's really tough to get through and recognize the fact that like residential schools were open until the 90s, where cultural genocide occurred, and like thousands of children starved or were beaten to death by priests and nuns. And it's time to talk about that.
To switch things up a little bit here, your rendition of Working Man absolutely slams.
Thanks.
I want to talk a bit about the cover itself, but also besides Rush and some of the classics, who are some of the artists that influenced you guys as musicians growing up?
Yeah, well, Rush is always going to be the number one, and like that's kind of what brought Cody and I together. I think we've been friends for like 7 years now, and basically our friendship was built off of jamming Rush tunes together and just nerding out. And we've actually had the pleasure of working with Terry Brown, who produced like the first 10 Rush records, and we've worked with Nick Raskulinecz, who did the last 2 Rush records. And so it's really special that we've been able to kind of like pay tribute to our heroes in like the best way that we can, because those guys, we don't respect them just as artists, but respect them as people and the way they conducted themselves as a band. And they always stayed true to each other, and they stayed friends for 40 years living in a tour bus together. And like it's hard guys. For the last year it's actually been kind of nice not being on the road, but we spent like 6 years on the road straight with each other, like sleeping on top of the drum kit. And like it's trying on a friendship when you're hungry and angry and hangry all the fucking time.
Moving on, you guys went on a major tour in 2019 supporting Jack White. So tell me a little more about that experience and what it was like getting to learn from someone as prominent as he is, and who also rose in the industry as part of a power duo.
Yeah, I mean, well, like Jack White like paved the way for, the blues rock duo. Like without the White Stripes, you wouldn't have had Black Keys, you wouldn't have Royal Blood, you wouldn't have Death from Above, you wouldn't have, what are the other duos? You wouldn't have Crown Lands.
Blue Stones.
Yeah.
Bluestones, Crownlands, yeah.
Yep. Tones. Yeah. Those guys are awesome. But yeah, like seriously, like every, like pretty much every modern band owes a Jack White. That guy's a genius. And it was really great to tour with them. I thought it was pretty funny that we got to, as a duo, we got to open up for Jack. We got the call like the night before we were supposed to leave. Cause like, so we live in Oshawa and our guitar tech lives in Ottawa. And so we got the phone call at like, I think like 6 p.m. And we're like, yeah, like, okay, great. The tour starts in like 2 days and we have to drive out to, did it start in Edmonton or start in Calgary? I don't know. Either way, like in like Alberta, right? And we got to get there in 2 days. And so like we called our crew and so, Calvin, our tech, like jumps on a train to get to Oshawa so we can leave at like 8 a.m. And it was wild. It was super intense. Like I was getting snow tires put on the van that night so that way we could actually get out there and not die. And it all worked out surprisingly. And yeah, so that was a really, really good tour.
As a duo, your music is full of unique sounds that maybe wouldn't exist within a larger ensemble. None more present than the heavy reverb. What are some of the challenges you face when trying to bring that same sound into your live sets?
Oh yeah, we always tour with our own sound guy, and like for most of it we tour with Justin Melly, who's like engineered and produced a lot of our records, so he knows their songs like better than we do. So he's all about like those huge big delay throws and reverb tails, and we tour with our own console and all that stuff. But I mean, it's funny, is this really the year to be asking how you recreate stuff live?
No,
Yeah, really.
certainly not.
But it's fine. I mean, we make it work. Like we made a couple rules when we started the band where it's like no click tracks, no backing tracks. It's like if you hear something, like we're playing it. And we really, really want to stay dedicated to like playing music properly instead of being like a karaoke band. I mean, like I don't talk shit about a lot of music, but I mean, if I see a band doing that, like playing with backing tracks, I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Come
come on.
That's for rap concerts.
Yeah, and again, like exactly, it's like staying true to your own medium, right? And like I have nothing ill to say about pop acts that do that, or vocal groups, because like there's something about that. Whereas like the point of, I think, rock music, like as a genre or a movement, is the point of like the organic nature and like the real nature. And just for me anyways, I mean, I'm a snob, so like
I agree, man.
so everyone's got different things. Some people just want it to sound good regardless and need to have their vocal harmonies on backing tracks, or guitar backing parts. It's like, meh, just become a better arranger, right? And I think that's why I like being in Crownlands. It pushes me a lot as an arranger, not just as much as a musician, because I'm stuck playing, I've got my double neck with my guitar and my bass, and then I've got all my keyboards. And so it really lets me like play around with like writing parts. And a lot of the time I'll write a riff on a guitar and then I'll end up transposing that into a like a keyboard part, and then I'll be playing my keyboard part on my guitar.
I'd say that you guys are by far the most unique power duo I've ever come across in terms of the instruments you play and just how you execute it on stage. So, Kevin, I mean, obviously you play guitar, bass, and keys at the same time. So I'd like to know where you got the idea to kind of take 3 instruments and combine them into one act on stage.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Rutherford from Genesis was one of my heroes growing up. He like was one of the first guys to build his own double neck. Well, I guess he got his luthier to cut a 12 string and a bass in half and then glue them together. And then when he was playing the 12 string, he'd be playing like organ pedals. And then as the 70s went on, Moog came out with these things called taurus pedals, which is like a really famous sound. You can hear that all over Rush's big records. And I was, again, like you can't talk about Crownlands without talking about Rush. We owe so much to that band. And yeah, like I drew a lot of inspiration from the way they arranged their music. And yeah, I just wanted to be able to like play unique lines with my feet while I'm playing guitar. And yeah, like the taurus pedals really opened that up for me when I started playing those. And basically when I was a kid, I just bought like a shitty spinet organ, those like, I call them grandma organs, because every grandma has those shitty organs in their basement. And like there. Like they don't come out of the basement because they're so big and so heavy.
My grandma does.
Yeah. Yes, dude.
Honestly.
I bought one of those organs as a kid and taught myself how to play bass parts with my feet, so that way I could play guitar over it. And I brought that into Crownlands, and it's worked out really well. It allows us to again, like, not have to hire auxiliary members, because I feel like if we're gonna do that, I'd want to go like the full-on Talking Heads Stop Making Sense tour kind of vibe, where they brought on like you know, they became a 9-piece Afro-Cuban like funk band instead of being like a punk band after that. I love that. I love the Talking Heads. And so if we're ever going to do it, we'll do it that way. But, you know, I don't want to have to be like, and here's the hired gun bass player. And it's like, yeah, like, I don't know. It just, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it big.
All right, first one, Phil Collins or Don Henley?
Phil Collins. Absolutely.
The Office or Parks and Rec?
Oh, The Office, like far and away. I mean, like, I love that show.
All right, Dimebag Darrell or Zach Wild?
Ooh, I feel like both those guys are kind of tied into like some really like ugly like white supremacy notions. So I'm gonna go with neither.
We'll accept that answer.
First time we've ever gotten a neither on the show. I like it.
Yeah, we'll accept neithers. We won't accept boths ever though. Fleetwood Mac or Heart?
Fleetwood Mac.
Fast and Furious or Hunger Games?
Oh, I've never seen either of those movie series. Like, I'll go with Fast and Furious just because, you know, Vin Diesel is in that, you know, he's a treasure. I mean, that guy rips Dungeons and Dragons. He's like the meanest looking guy, but he's a total nerd.
Black Sabbath or The Who?
Ooh. Probably Sabbath. Like, yeah.
Black Keys or Steely Dan?
Ooh. I'll go with the Black Keys. As much as I love Steely Dan, you know, Black Keys are a big influence on us.
Boston Pizza or Kelsey's?
Probably Boston Pizza.
Well,
All right, channeling it back to local venues in Toronto. Bovine Sex Club or Cherry Colas?
Bovine, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We good memories playing that place.
Good answer.
Yeah, the Bovine.
I think this is the best question you could ask a Whitby or Oshawa guy, but Ajax or Pickering?
Wow. I'd say Pickering, because I've got like a lot of memories there. Like I used to work at a production company there called Apex Sound and Light. And there's the only coffee roaster in Durham region is in Pickering called Treblecock. And I'm a huge coffee snob. And I really, really like Treblecock because they're really ethical about the way that they work with the farmers. Like they actually travel to the countries and meet with the farmers that they and like it's like direct from farm to cup. And I really like that because I feel like coffee can be so problematic the way that it's tied to like slavery and colonialism, and it's really hard to ethically consume coffee, and they do it as close to like, you know, conscious free as possible. So, you know, that's a big plug for the Treblecock boys in Pickering, you know.
There you go.
Fun fact, the word Treblecock's been mentioned on our show one time before, and it was Luke from the Nil telling us that his first ever guitar teacher's name was Mike Treblecock.
Yeah, there you go.
Small
Awesome.
world.
If I get to be mentioned in the same sentence as Luke from the Nil, I'm a happy guy.
If there's anything you wanted to plug that you guys got on the go or any more causes you want to talk about, the floor is yours for the next few minutes.
Sure. I'm trying to think of anything. We have some new music coming out probably next month, which is exciting. That's all I can say. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be saying this right now, but we're really excited about it. It's like the best thing we've ever done.
So
Yeah, music is the most high, man. It's the fucking best. There's just something so magical that happens in the room when Cody and I just start making noise together, and like it doesn't matter if we get along on like every aspect in life, but like just the musical similarities that we share is striking, man. I mean, it's just it's just so much fun. It's just the purest shit. I love every bit.
Hey baby, I like the way you make me feel. Cut me open, strip me bare.